Okay, we're going to do inversions of intervals. Two-step process here. An inversion of an interval. You subtract it from the number 9. All right, so the inversion of a third is a sixth, because 9 minus 3 is 6. The inversion of a fifth is a fourth. The inversion of an octave is a unison, 8 and 1. The inversion of a second would be a seventh. All right, so the first thing you do is subtract it from 9. Now, an inversion is simply sort of a mirror image. So if you have an interval above, let's say I have a given note right here, and I'm going to go up a fifth. Let's just say these two notes are 5 away. The concept is if you take this note right here and drop it an octave, it becomes the inversion. All right, so let's say this was a C and this was a G. If you take a G and drop that octave and put the G down here, the inversion is a fourth. Now, the type of the inversion is going to change, but to get the basic number of an inversion is just subtract it from 9. So, the next thing you do is deal with the type. So remember, the types of interval is major or perfect, minor, diminished, and augmented. Here's what you do. So you subtract to find the inversion. You subtract the number from 9. You switch between major to minor. So if it's a major interval, its inversion is going to be a minor interval, and vice versa. Perfect stays perfect. We love those guys. We don't mess with our perfects. They stay perfect. And then augmented and diminished will switch types. All right, so step 1 is subtract the number from 9. Step 2, switch the type. Ergo, if I have a major sixth and I want the inversion, what is it? 9 minus 6 is 3. Major becomes minor. So the inversion of a major sixth is a minor third. If I had a perfect fourth and I wanted its inversion, 9 minus 4 is 5. Perfect stays perfect. So those are inversions of each other. Again, if you drop that guy an octave, they become the inversion. This is so crucial when you're trying to find a note below a given note. You do its inversion above it, and then you drop it an octave and it turns into that note. All right, so inversions of intervals. That's the concept. Now let's put it into practice. If I give you a note, and I want a note below it. So let's go with B as in beautiful. And in the instructions say, I want you to give me a minor sixth below that note. All right, well, when we're dealing with intervals, we think in keys. Well, and you think in the key of the bottom note, remember. Well, if I'm going below, I don't know what key to think in. So the easiest way to deal with this is to deal with it through its inversion. So that way I can think in this key, and I can do it above. Once I find that answer, drop it an octave, and it turns into its inversion. All right, it's magic. All right, so let's just do an interval like we've been doing intervals for a while. B. So in the key of B, we have forget cutting grass during N. Forget cutting grass during N. All right, so I'm going to do, what's the inversion of a minor sixth? 9 minus 6 is 3. Minor becomes major. So now I'm dealing with B, a major third above, and that'll be my answer. It'll just be an octave too high. So B, major third above B. I go 1, 2, 3. It's a D. Since it's major, put it in the key. It's a D sharp. There's my major third right there, right? But I want the minor sixth below. So just take that D sharp down an octave. Down here. Take your accidentals with it. That, my friends, is a minor sixth. So that's actually your answer right there. B down to D sharp is a minor sixth. All right, let's do another one. Let's do D flat. How about that? Let's do D flat, and let's do an augmented fifth below. Okay, These are only for doing, so if the instructions say find me an augmented fifth below this note. All right, I can do this. What am I going to do above the note? It's inversion. What's the inversion of an augmented fifth? A diminished fourth. 9 minus 5 is 4, and I switch my type. I'm in the key of D flat, which has B, E, A, D, and one more G. I'm going to do a diminished fourth above D flat. Count up 4, I land on G. There's a G flat in this key, so there's my perfect fourth. A diminished fourth, remember perfect goes straight to diminished, so lower that a half step out of the key, bam. So a G double flat. That's essentially the answer, it's just an octave too high. Drop that an octave and it turns into this dude. So G double flat, take it all down there. There's your answer. D flat down to G double flat is an augmented fifth. That is how you deal with notes below a given note.